Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a committee menacingly called the Weaponization of the Federal Government. Mr. Turley, have you ever worked for the federal government?
Yes.
What did you do?
I did a couple of years off and on with an NSA as a lowly intern. I also worked in the legislative branch in various capacities. I represented Congress in court.
But that's not working for the federal government. You were an intern.
Well,
okay.
no, I wasn't an intern. I was representing them.
I understand. You were an intern at NSA. That's the extent of your federal government experience.
No,
right?
I think Congress is part of the federal government. And
you represented Congress. You didn't work for Congress.
Well, they paid me. That's my standard. Okay. But also, I also worked for.
All right, I want to reclaim my time. Let's move on because I have a lot to cover. You've commented a lot on the First Amendment today. Do you think that Special Counsel Mueller's indictment of members of Russian intelligence for interfering with the 2016 election through social media was improperly charged?
Well, it depends. I have to look at which case you're talking about, but I supported Mueller's appointment as special counsel.
I'm talking about the indictment.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, I don't remember being upset with those indictments. Okay.
What they did and what they alleged is that Russia interfered in our election through using speech via social media.
Right.
Now, do you think that the First Amendment protects people from making death threats against federal officials across state lines?
No. If it's a
Does the First Amendment protect someone from yelling fire in a movie theater?
Well, unfortunately, that one is not yes or no, because that's become a mantra for people. It's the Holmes Schenck line. Holmes himself walked back on that.
All right.
Holmes and
we don't need a law class here.
But,
but you do agree, though, don't you, that the First Amendment does not protect all speech?
No, there are limits to speech. All constitutional rights have limits.
Right. Mr. Baker, I want to turn to you. When did you retire from the FBI?
I retired from FBI employment in about 20 years ago. And
1999, right? It's a year.
Yeah, and I've continued to be engaged with the FBI on a number of levels since then.
Okay. So you retired 2 years before 9/11, right?
That's correct.
All right. And are you aware that one of the reasons that 9/11 occurred was that the FBI and the intelligence community did not coordinate sufficiently? Would you agree with that?
That's a conclusion of the September 11th Commission, and it's very valid, I think.
And so you read that like I did, and that's all the information that you had because you were not at the FBI.
And
as a result of 9/11, that the Department of Homeland Security was created, right?
A year or two after that, yes.
So you never worked in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security when you worked for the FBI, right?
I was working as a consultant during most of those years.
When you worked for the FBI, when you were paid by the FBI as a special agent, did you work with Homeland Security?
No, it didn't exist.
Okay. And you never investigated foreign interference in our elections, did you?
No, I personally did not.
And you have no experience investigating Russia's efforts to interfere in our elections through cyber attacks and social media, do you?
Other than what I've studied and researched.
Okay. And in 1999, when you left, did smartphones exist?
Of a sort.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Well, we had phones. We had phones
Smartphones.
in cars.
Do you know what a smartphone is? Okay.
Well,
did you ever do any search warrants for emails?
Search warrants for
emails?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Did you ever investigate domestic extremism?
Actually, yes. I investigated the Ku Klux Klan on many occasions.
Good.
Did
you ever investigate any insurrections on the Capitol?
No, there was none.
Okay. And I appreciate that your service, sir, but you would agree that a lot has changed in the FBI in the 23 years since you left, correct?
Good and bad, and I have stayed engaged on a number of levels.
One last question, sir, for you. I read that your opening statement is actually an excerpt from your book. Is that right?
Well, it covers some of the same territory, yes.
All right. Well, next time, make sure you give us a heads up and we can set up a table for you to have a book signing after this. Ms. Parker, real quick, do you think that you speak for, you said that Americans are concerned about the FBI. Do you think you speak for every American?
I do not speak for every American, but as a special agent who's been out in the field trying to conduct my job, it's very difficult when we don't have the buy-in of the American people, and a lot of Americans do not trust the FBI anymore because
Well,
of recent...
unfortunately, my time is about up, but I will also say to you that I worked in the Department of Justice for 10 years alongside a lot of FBI special agents. And their biggest concern and the most damage to the morale of the FBI occurred after Donald Trump started attacking the FBI because he was being investigated by the FBI. And that is what this subcommittee is all about. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for yielding back. I disagree with his conclusion. We now recognize the gentleman